we spend 81,000 hours at work over our lifetime, on average. Do we want to just accept the status quo of going to work in a job that we don't really love?
A lot of us get caught in this trap that we've got to be everything to everyone. We've got to be good at everything we do. School teaches us, hey, well done, in stats this year, Luke, you got an A- there, but hey, the science stuff, mate, you've got a C+ here. We probably need to put a bit more effort in. I fucking hate science. Why do I want to do that? But that's basically traditional New Zealand education.
We are not built to be well-rounded. We are arrows, so find out what is the pointy end of what you do well and stick with that.
So today I'm going to reveal to you one of the people who has been instrumental in my own growth journey. Suze Oh is sitting across from me. Finally, I'm giving people access to the maestro that's helped me understand some of my strengths. And in true Luke fashion, I've absolutely thrown her in the deep end. She didn't know there was cameras, nothing. She thought she was just coming for a chat. But no, we're going to do some learning today. It is good to see you as always.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I think in 2017, I had a conversation with somebody about going on my journey and how do I improve and things like that. And they said, you really need to lean on your strengths. And I'm like, cool, how the hell do I do that? And I found this, they pointed me towards this Gallup CliftonStrengths. And so I went and did it. And then I think the maximiser in me eventually was like, I need to understand this better and not just put it in the bottom drawer and carry on. And then I think it might have been 2018, 2019, 2020, I can't remember. But in 2020, we were definitely doing some coaching around this.
Yeah, for sure. Pre-COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID. Yeah, of course. Geez. And now 2025. And I actually said to you when we were doing some coaching, one day I'll, do a presentation to like 50,000 people or something in Eden Park. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
And you were like...
And dreams come true.
You're like, okay, pal.
I don't think I was so disbelieving of you.
How are you going to get 50,000 people? But I've kind of done it in an electronic version, which is quite cool. Yeah. But anyway, let's dig into what strengths and stuff are. Let's have some fun with mine, maybe with yours. Encourage other people to see how they could improve their life and productivity through strengths, and then just see where it takes us, eh?
Absolutely.
So, for those who don't know the StrengthsFinder system, Gallup, etc., what is it and why does it matter for people?
So, the Clifton Strengths assessment that you did is readily available to anybody who wants to do it. So, there's a lot of assessments out there, but some of them you have to be qualified and as a general member of the public, you can't just rock up and do your strengths assessment or whatever assessment it might be. But with Clifton Strengths, anybody can do it. And when I say anybody, there's a version that's for kids as well. So if you are someone who's fully into strengths and you want to understand your kids' natural talents, you can do it with them. And that's for, very young kids, basically. So the Clifton Strengths assessment is run by a company called Gallup that's based in the US. They do obviously a lot of work around strengths-based philosophy, which is what the assessment is based on. They do a lot of work with engagement surveys. They've got a Q12 survey and a lot of research work, which is great for them because across all those dimensions, they all tie together beautifully. And so there's a lot of science and work and research that's gone behind Clifton Strengths. But what's popped out, I think, is an assessment that the everyday person can use. The language is very easy. It doesn't take much to understand. And I think importantly, I guess when probably most of the people who've been listening to this podcast have done assessments in some shape or form in the past, right? Mm. And very often you get it and you think, oh, that's interesting. But then what do you do with it? It kind of goes in the bottom drawer. It sits on a shelf until somebody says, oh, hey, have you done that? And, oh, yeah, I did. But I think where Clifton Strengths is different is it gives you action points based on your talent themes that really it's up to you to put into practice. And they are easy. They are simple, and anybody can do it. It's just a case of getting your A into G and doing that.
You always reiterate that it's not a test, and I think that's important because I think a lot of people look at personality testing and stuff like this. This is an assessment. How is that different in some regards?
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people would say it's semantics, but I will always talk about it as an assessment rather than a test because I think, our days at school lead us to believe that if you're doing a test, there's a pass and a fail. Mm. Whereas with the assessment, there is no pass or fail. It is just telling a story about who you are. And for some people, that seems a bit, I guess, not like rocket science, and it's not rocket science, but it is really just putting the words around what it is that you do well and who you are. And because our strengths come to us so naturally, we aren't always able to readily talk about them or explain them to other people. But this is exactly what CliftonStrengths does, is it gives us easy words to explain what we do well. But I think the next step from there is then also being able to talk about the strengths in people in the world around us, the people we work with every day, but also, outside of work, because this is applicable in every part of your life.
I think for me it unlocked that if I'm naturally good at these things or if I am good at them, that's okay. And then if I'm in a situation and it's needed, that strength, I can be that guy.
Yeah.
And I can apply myself to it rather than sort of sitting back going, I wonder who's going to say that they'll do it, and go, yeah, I can do that because I know I can actually do it. If it's something that I can't or I'm not as strong in, I can go, you know what, I don't need to be that guy. But I do, because I think a lot of us get caught in this trap that we've got to be everything to everyone. We've got to be good at everything we do. School teaches us, hey, well done, in stats this year, Luke, you got an A- there, but hey, the science stuff, mate, you got a C+ here. We probably need to put a bit more effort in. I fucking hate science. Like, why do I want to do that? But that's basically traditional New Zealand education. I think this was really empowering for me, that it's okay to figure out what you're naturally good at. You then enjoy it more and then do more of it, rather than trying to constantly do these personality profiles and just shit where it's like, you're not good at this, you need to get better at it. Well, how's that going to serve me?
And I think that's a very good point, because Gallup does make the differentiation between conventional personal development, which is exactly what you said, that it assumes that we can all be good at something if we try hard enough. But strengths-based is more focused on find out what your natural talents are, which is what the assessment does, and then spend your time really, making those shines. And the maximiser will appreciate that in you, because, if I pick something in the bottom of my 34 list, it's not that I can't do those things, and it's not that you can't do the ones in the bottom of your list. It's just we will never do them as well as people who have them in their top 5 or top 10. And the time that I spend trying to get better at any of those is just time not well spent. So
as an example, in my bottom 5, I've got context, right? It probably would have been good to give you the context of what you were walking in today.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Suze will be fine, just throw in the deep end, come in for a podcast, no worries.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think, you've got futuristic in your top 10, and those are probably two that you're least likely to see paired up together or close together,
gotcha.
Top 10, top bottom, because context are the people who really look to what's happened in days gone by. They're really interested in the history of what's happened to help them form the future. So if I wanted to do truly a blue sky brainstorming session, I probably wouldn't have a person who has context in their top 5 as top of my list.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're going to be the people, it's not to say they don't add value, but they're the people who will come and think about what we've done in the past and how we can tinker it to make it work tomorrow. I would be more likely probably to invite you with futuristic and your dominant talents to just go, boom, let's think of something completely new, not considering what we've done prior.
Don't worry about the details. We'll figure those out as we go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess on that, what did you notice about me when we started doing coaching together? Like, can you remember any clear themes or any tales for the people out there?
Yeah, I think, your commitment to the cause was, not to say refreshing, but it was constant. Sometimes I'll start coaching assignments with people, and, I guess we'll just explain for people how it worked for you, was that we picked a theme every month, and based on what it is you had on your to-do list to achieve that month, how would we best use that theme to help you achieve your goal? So that's one really good way of doing it. And I guess it can be, I guess the other way of doing it is what are my goals, and then what have I got in my strengths toolbox that I can use to then make myself shine. So it really was the commitment to the cause, because we stuck at it hardcore for those 10 months. Yeah. And every time you came back, you had stories to tell about how you had put that theme to work. And that is all about turning a talent to a strength. And so maybe we'll just explain that when you get your All 34 assessment back in the order of your themes, what that's talking to you about is the order of your talent themes. So the order of your talent themes doesn't necessarily mean that the ones that sit in your top 10 are your strengths. Depending on how you use them and how they play out in the world determines whether you're using them as strengths or whether they are just natural talents of yours and have the ability to turn into a strength more easily. And so it's by the intentional use of them, the commitment of time and putting them to work that turns them from talent to strengths. And I think that's what you were really committed to do.
Yeah, I've got an email from 2020 that you sent me, and
Okay.
I'll dig it out. But for those who are instantly interested, maybe they're an activator, and
Yeah.
are like, "What? Okay, how do I go and do this?" Because I'm looking, this is now a 26-page report.
Yeah.
So easiest way, probably Google StrengthsFinder Gallup, Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup StrengthsFinder. Yeah, there are other strengths assessments out there, but if you want to do this particular one, Gallup CliftonStrengths. So StrengthsFinder was its original name, which they've morphed it over the years to CliftonStrengths.
Okay,
Yeah.
CliftonStrengths. So this is a full report, and it gives you there's 34, and it gives you your top 10, and then everything's ranked in order as such, but there's a blend of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it helps you understand each of these as well, and then it kind of gives you advice around identifying your unique contribution, the Clifton Strengths domains. You can lead with influencing, Clifton Strengths themes. What is a weakness? There's a lot of work. There's probably like 5 years of work for an individual in that 34. Yeah.
Well, when I did my coach training, the person I did it with, there was the debate about, because you could just choose to do the top 5 report.
That's right.
Or you can do the all 34, which is what you've done. And he said to us, there is a lifetime of work in your top 5.
Yeah, wow.
He said, so never feel like you need to do the all 34. Top 5 is enough for the rest of your life, because you can just keep refining and using and learning about how those themes play out for you in the world.
Well, the maximiser in me would suggest to people to do the whole thing. And why is that they might be able to go to their employer and say, hey, I know that this is really valuable. Can you pay for it? Because I read that people who use their strengths every day are 6 times as likely to be engaged in their job.
Correct.
Crazy. And then employees who receive feedback on their strengths have a 14.9% lower turnover than those who do not.
Yep.
Of course, we want to hear things about what we are innately good at, and it makes so much sense when you start thinking about it compared to, you're not very good at this, I wish you just get a bit better.
Yep.
Oh, now I feel a bit shit.
Well, let me tell you a surprising stat. So every year, Gallup does the state of the global workplace, and they've recently released 2025 version, so anybody can go online and Google that and find it. And that's surveyed across more than 140 countries in the world. So it truly is global, and they've committed to doing it for 100 years.
Wow.
And one of the things they measure is engagement rates across the world. And so the people who sit in the box who can say that they are truly engaged in the work that they do, 21%.
21. So 1 in 5 of us are really engaged in what we do.
Yeah. And so there's those are the people who have the real emotional connection to their work, who love what they do. It's a 3-point scale. So there's the engaged people and then the actively disengaged, who are the challenges that managers and businesses have, because they are the people who really, they're not the quiet quitters. They're the ones who just are almost toxic in the work environment, just are not enjoying what they're doing and do not want to be there, and probably would be better serving themselves to find a job elsewhere, but for so many reasons that we could talk about, don't.
Yeah.
So 21%, there's definitely room for improvement there. I mean, that's the global figure, but New Zealand's not really too much different. And the highest category that's, I think, dropped over the last year would be the category to do with managers. And I think they would say that that's still a bit of a post-pandemic kind of leftover of people having to do more with the same amount of time, less resources, whether it be people, finance, whatever.
I guess there's a piece of work for all of us there to understand our strengths, to then figure out, are we in a role that we can lean on those strengths? Because if I am, then I'm going to be 6 times as likely to be engaged in the work compared to other people. Or we don't want to live a life where we're working in some environment or operating in some environment where we're miserable, or we're not leaning on our strengths, because we're going to be in that 80%. So
and we spend 81,000 hours
really
at work over our lifetime, on average.
Yeah.
The only thing we do more is sleep.
Sheesh. Yeah.
So
yeah, we're good at that.
some people are.
Yeah.
So I think do we want to just accept the status quo of going to work in a job that we don't really love?
Well, also, teams that focus on strengths every day have around 12.5% greater productivity than those that don't.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a bit of a productivity issue in New Zealand. So again, this is more education that we can be leaning on to improve ourselves, our workplaces, our employees, and the entire country.
And I think 2 points off there, right? It's not, to be 6 times more engaged in the work that you do, the knock-on effect of that, I'm happier about coming to work. I tell my friends I work for a great place. If you think about the times that you've not enjoyed the work that you do, how much time and how much of your brain power is consumed by being unhappy about that, or the people that you work with, or the work that you do. And so when you don't have that level of stress, you can be more creative, you can be more productive. So, the knock-on effect is massive. And, the same for the teams.
Too many of us signed up to a KiwiSaver plan without much thought. And signing up is great, but if you've never got advice before, you could be missing out. Your KiwiSaver account could become one of your biggest assets over your lifetime. That's why getting expert advice early and ensuring you're in the right fund is so worthwhile. Generate have a team of KiwiSaver advisors available to help. Head to generatekiwisaver.co.nz/change to book a no obligation meeting. They can even come to you. A copy of the product disclosure statement is available at generatekiwisaver.co.nz. The issuer of the scheme is Generate Investment Management Limited, and of course, past performance does not guarantee future returns.
I can't remember if this tells you sort of what types of roles may be good for your strengths. I feel like
no, not really.
Right?
So,
okay.
And I think that is purposeful. So Gallup will say that this is a personal development assessment. It's not for recruitment.
Gotcha.
And they would never actively encourage people to use it as such. But I think, because the best in class achieves the same outcome but in their own way. So you and I have very different strengths.
Yeah.
But if we were given a task to do, we could both achieve that with excellence, but we would do it in our own way.
Mm.
And so it's not always necessarily the job that you're in and, whether that's good or bad per se, but it's the work that you do within that, the opportunities that you have, the partnerships that you have, and the teams that you work within.
Nice. Well, let's pick out one of these, which is futuristic. And if I just grab me report here, you're inspired by the future and what could be. You energize others with your visions of the future. I love nothing more than sitting down and thinking about, okay, where could I be in the future?
Yeah.
How about Eden Park? You're a visionary.
And I think you said to me once Prime Minister, but anyway.
Well, gee, keep that quiet, yeah. I think I've changed my mind on that after seeing how much shit they get, but
cool.
we'll see. You're a visionary. Your powerful anticipation and detailed visualization of a better future can turn aspirations into reality. Your vision of tomorrow can inspire and push others to new heights. Do you know what's really interesting? I said to Ben once, who obviously you know who Ben is, a good mate of mine. Haven't had him on the pod yet, so need to once he's back from Europe. But I said to him, the things in my camera roll are now starting to look like the pictures that I had in my head. I could be a rapper. But it's quite funny when you start achieving things that you knew you could 5 years ago, but you just have to go on the journey to achieve them.
Yep.
I think it's pretty amazing that some of us can see these things and then go and make them happen. But you sent me an email in 2020, which I dug out yourself, which I just thought was quite funny. I saw this and had to send it because I think this is so you. Futuristic. Someone with futuristic can embrace what we might be good at in the future that we wouldn't dare take on if we were basing our boldness on our current capability. There's probably a world of work just in that one sentence, right? And that's where I think this stuff is, when you're discovering things that you really enjoy and that are your strengths, it makes it easier to sit with those and think, okay, what does that mean? And what was Suze trying to tell me? And okay, how can I lean in these things to feel more energized? And that's probably one of the key takeaways I've had from this. When I'm doing, when I push myself into my strengths or lean on them, say I go on holiday, for instance, where most people relax.
Yeah.
And then
You're an active relaxer?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, shock. So I'm thinking about the future and I'm saying things to Taz like, where do we want to, end up living? What? And it for me, it's really empowering and exciting and energizing. But I have to understand that's not for everybody as well. But the futuristic one, I think the country needs a lot of that at the moment with just how much we're struggling.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it is such a special talent to have in times of struggle. and challenge. And for so many reasons, as you say, absolutely, New Zealand and probably globally could do with a bit of hope on the horizon. The ability, because I've got futuristic at 11, so what that means is it sits in my supporting theme. So it's very contextual. It depends on the time and the place and what it is that I'm thinking about or talking about that, maybe that really fires and then other times it wouldn't at all. But for you, it is, the force is strong in you with futuristic, right? So pretty much anything and everything you do, you have the ability to look ahead. And I think, anybody with futuristic really needs to kind of also think about what that sweet spot might be. Is it 5 years, 10 years, 50 years? That's really your, your ticket to the money, so to speak. But I think also it's the ability to then put that into words and be able to communicate it to other people who you want to have on that journey with you or who you need to have on that journey with you. Because, undoubtedly, as amazing as you are, you can't do it all on your own. And that goes back to your point before that we cannot be good at everything. And Gallup would say we are not built to be well-rounded. We are arrows. So find out what is the pointy end of what you do well and stick with that.
Yeah, and part of why I was getting further into this too is that getting into a business partnership, trying to understand each other's strengths to go, okay, we're not just going to do everything the way that I do it. We can do it the way that Phil does it. What strengths does he have? What things can he lean on of mine? What can I lean on of his? So that we can be more well-rounded, but then create our own sandpit and go, let's just play in there. And every time we play outside of the sandpit, a year after, we're like, fuck, we shouldn't have gotten outside the sandpit. It's just like inevitable that it ends up happening. We know we can play outside of it, but we just don't end up doing our best work there.
Yep.
And we end up having to then just slowly get back into the sandpit. And then every time we're in the sandpit, everything's just flying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, incredibly powerful.
And I think Phil's so different to you. I know, we looked at his strengths as well, right? Mm-hmm. And the ability that's what you want in that partnership is to have someone who is different to you, because the ability then to work together to create the magic where you kind of balance off each other, but also push each other out of your comfort zones and challenge each other's thinking is really where the magic happens. And I remember we had this conversation with Ben, who's got deliberative somewhere in his dominant themes. And I don't know if you remember this conversation, you've got Activator, which is let's just press go.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just start, and if it's not quite right, we'll tinker, we'll make it right, try again. Let's
Get going now.
Yeah. Work is doing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Ben's got deliberative.
Intellection, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Intellection. Yeah. And so, yours is very much ready, fire, aim. Not quite right, fire, aim, do it again. Whereas Ben is the ready, aim, fire.
Yeah.
Like, let's just think about this. Let's do it once, and do it properly. So different. And there was the day that you guys were chatting about something and he was like, I need to think about it. And he went and he lay on the couch and you were like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Like, I thought we were working. And, for Intellection, thinking is working. Whereas for Activator, doing is working. Like, poles opposite, right? Like, gung-ho, handbrake, what's happening?
Yeah. The best example I've got of this for Ben and I, so now that I understand this, as an example, Activator, I'll go, I need a camera for this thing, or I'm going to make this content. So I'll just go online and just buy the first thing and get it done, get it shipped. JB Hi-Fi, I'll plug it in, I'm like, fuck, it doesn't even work. It doesn't even fit with my whatever. Then I'll have to message Ben and go, hey bro, I brought this. And he'll be like, leave it with me. And he'll be like, no, you've completely, got the wrong thing. You need a dimension X, Y, Z. You need this, and you should have got this thing. But here's the link to it. Grab it. And I think, man, the Activator, epic to get it moving, but just shooting at the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And he will go and get all of the information on a piece of technology to make sure that it's future-proofed and that. Whereas I'm just like, that one looks probably like the right one. Let's just order that.
Yeah.
And it is, but he gets a lot of energy out of understanding the difference in all of the equipment and whatnot. For me, I'm just like, surely they're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely feeds his soul to do that. And I think everybody needs the Activator and everybody needs the Intellection. You just got to have its moment in time, right? Just the right place, the right time for it. Because sometimes, particularly in teams, they can get a bit stuck thinking about a project. They're strategizing and they're planning, but everybody's a little bit hesitant to press go for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's when the Activator is just on fire. It's like...
I'll give you a recent example. So Phil and I are away doing business planning, and so business planning, we're both sitting there, we're having a beer, we're talking about things we're going to need to do. Most people would then, put it on a to-do list. You come back and then you start executing on it. I'm like, yeah, mate, yeah, I'm just typing an email. So
Getting it done.
So I'm typing an email to Roy, who helps with marketing, and then Rit, who's going to come in and help us do some content. I'm like, guys, here's my high-level idea of what I want to do. Let's find a time. Let's get it in the calendar. And it's all been turned around yesterday. And I was saying to Phil, it's like, it's only been 5 weeks, but we've actually already shot all of that. It's all been filmed. It's all been edited. It's done. And another accounting practice, that would be, okay, let's have a meeting. Let's be, mindful of what we're going to say. Poor old Phil just has to turn up on the day. He's like, well, like what? I'm like, I don't know what we're doing, bro. We'll just figure it out as we go, mate. Just trust me. But he understands now, and he's saying, yeah, he's like, the Activator is just so strong where you're emailing on the spot, but like, we need to get this moving. We need to get it in the calendar. We don't need to piss around. Like, let's just get going. And now that he understands how I roll so much better, he can go, okay, it doesn't need to be perfect. Like Luke, he knows what we're doing and how this is then going to lead to something. I've got to figure out how I slot in.
And I think, the benefit of having worked together for so long, he's seen, I think you've built the trust with your Activator to show that actually it does work well. It's not always going to work well, for sure. There'll be times where it crashes and burns, but, there's enough faith there to go, I get it. Like, let's see this through.
Yeah. Funny, I told the story
Still
recently.
nervous probably, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, he emailed me the other day about a client that he was dealing with, and I just skipped him out and just went straight to the client and was like, yeah, mate, we can do this, blah, blah, blah. He's like, mate, like, what are you doing? I wanted to know. But anyway, it's this is where I guess it's a good example of where your strengths can then, you can use them, like what's probably best wording of that, like over-rely on them or overuse them, and they can become a weakness as such.
For sure, yeah. And so in the Gallup world, I guess that is what a weakness is. It's anything that holds you back from success.
Yeah.
So your weaknesses may not necessarily be the talent themes that sit in the bottom third of your list. More likely what I see is weaknesses stemming from your dominant strengths, so the top 10, because they come to you so naturally. You just have a tendency, and when I say you, I don't mean you personally, anybody, has the tendency to overuse them, misuse them, and that's sometimes when it tips the balance a little bit, and it actually is not serving you as well as it could.
I see this often, like someone with command, they'll be having a conversation as a group, and then they'll just overpower them and talk over them. And because I'm an includer, I'm looking around being like, oh, man, that's not, but to them it's completely normal. No, I haven't finished. I'm going to, you don't start talking yet. And then they roll in, you can almost see someone else kind of go, oh, wow. But I don't even think they pick up on it. They're just like, no, I need to finish what I was going to say. Yeah.
And I think, command is one of the least likely themes that we see in anybody's top 5 in New Zealand, globally. And so it's probably one that generally we're not used to. And I think from a Kiwi point of view, command is not generally the way people work.
Yeah.
But, there is absolutely a place for command. It will never let a team be rudderless. It will always stand up, take charge, and provide some direction.
What's your favourite strength of yours?
Ooh.
Because your top 5, learner, individualization, connectedness, relator, focus. I don't think I've got any of those in my top 10. So it's hard for me to understand.
And I think my 6th one is harmony. Where's harmony for you?
34.
Yeah. I've got empathy 7. That'll be.
That's empathy for me is 12.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But even my business partner, so he's analytical and deliberative in his top 5. For me, 28 and 33.
Yeah.
So
I just think that's so good though.
Yeah. Well, we had to learn that difference where, I would be like, why is he taking so long to make this decision? Yeah. And then Phil's thinking, why is he already committed to that? Like completely different. And Phil can see how that can hinder him at times, but it can also, it's obviously a strength for him too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's another thing Gallup has done is they do a lot of work in terms of partnership, so that one-on-one piece and how the strength of a partnership and a great partnership can make all the difference in a team or even just the success of, those two people. And I think what you said before, the more we can talk about what we do well, so the more we can talk about our strengths and, the value that we bring, the more we seem to also be able to talk about the things we don't do so well, which I think is really important because we all have things we don't do well, but it's just, it's not in anybody's general nature to speak poorly of themselves. And I think, that's one of the things for me that's so great about CliftonStrengths, particularly when it comes to teams, is to say, like I've got Woo 29, so I just know that if I had to go to a networking gig, I know it's not my thing.
You can do it and lean on other strengths.
Absolutely, I could do it. And I can do, you can do everything in the bottom. I can do everything in the bottom, but it doesn't come to me with the same ease, enjoyment, and excellence as my top 10.
Yeah.
But I see and I love Woo for what it is, and sometimes I wish I had a bit of Woo. But, when I did my coach training, actually, I worked with someone who had Woo, I'm going to say number 1. And so if I tell the story, it was in Sydney. He had come from outside of Sydney. He lived in Australia but not in Sydney, and he was staying with a friend for that week. But it turned out that his friend had to go out of town for work or something. So he was going home to his friend's apartment every night by himself. I was staying in a hotel, so I was going home by myself. It's like busy days, right? And you're full on learning, and it's like brain explosion. So I was going home and I was like loving the quiet of just like sitting with myself. And by about day 3, he was like, I'm like really like just not feeling it. And so we talked about it and we were like, maybe you're not feeding your Woo, right? So Woo is that, loves the social interaction,
Winning
there
others
are
over.
no strangers. Everybody's a friend I haven't met. And he said, you know what I think I might do? I might just put a message out on Facebook and see who's around tonight for a drink.
Yeah.
And I was like, he said, do you want to come? I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, I see you all day. No. And I was like, oh, okay, do you know people in Sydney? And he was like, no. And I'm like, so who are you putting a message out to? He's like, well, I figure that, through Facebook, people I know will know people in Sydney and someone will want to meet for a drink. Dying on the inside. I'm like, I could not think of anything worse. So he did that, and the next day he came and he was buzzing. He was like, I went out and I met some people, didn't know them, went to some pub, and I'm like, oh my God, like, good on you.
Yeah.
Because he had positivity up there as well. So it was like clear, like a light had turned on for me as to what those kind of themes bring to the world and what they need. Like, I was so happy going home and just sitting in my hotel room doing my homework.
Yeah.
Whereas he just needed to feed his Woo, his positivity, all those kind of like, whoo.
High energy. Most Kiwi don't have a financial plan. They have a she'll be right, mate attitude. Amy from Leverage is helping KTC listeners change that. If you're needing direction, clarity, or wondering what your next financial move should be, then book a call with Amy or download her free DIY financial plan to freedom. To do that, visit financialplan.co.nz. So learner, individualization, connectedness, relator, focus. What do you reckon?
Probably depends what I'm doing, but I do have to probably say I do love my relator. I love all of them. It's really hard. That's like a mean question if I'm honest.
Sorry.
I love my relator because I feel like when I've known people for a while, I just want to know more about them. And, relator is all about social depth.
Yeah.
Woo would be social breadth, though. Know lots of people, but probably more surface level, whereas relator is like the people I know I want to get to know more. And relator, like the part of relator that really resonates with me is I love working with people on a goal to achieve something. Like it just right up my alley.
Yeah.
But then I also have to, thank Strengths for focus because sometimes my learner, like I get a little bit off track if I'm searching for research type stuff on the internet, and then I'm like, oh, that's interesting, open that link. And then I know you have like a billion tabs open, but I end up like that, but then it stresses me out because I'm like, oh my God, like so much open. But focus is like, right, if I know what my goal is, I can get it done. Like I have this single-minded focus of just getting it done.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. That must be awesome to be able to even just have that understanding and then be able to lean on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
But I know then I have to identify my goal clearly.
Okay.
I can't just be a bit half pie about it or no, I have to kind of do something about that today.
Yeah.
I need to be very clear with myself what it is I want to achieve and then I can do it.
Is that what you see happening with people as they understand more about this, so they start owning their strengths and then can point it at something?
Absolutely, and that's turning it from a talent theme into a strength. And so the very basic model around putting these to work from a Gallup point of view is the name it, aim it, claim it. And so the name it piece is being able to talk about the theme. So what does it mean? The claim it piece is, and I can see how that's me. Like I understand why that theme sits in my top 10. And then the aim it piece is, so how do I put it to work? And so, I think before I did this, I know certainly I can have those moments where I can get shit done. But now it's really clear to me that if I'm not clear for myself what that goal is, I can just float a little bit.
Yeah.
And do a whole lot of other stuff and be very busy, but not necessarily productive.
And then do you knuckle down when you're like, right, now I know. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's, less about, I guess, the period of time, but more just about the goal. And it's not just, work related. Like I use it in the gym quite a lot. Like if I'm doing AMRAPs and stuff, I'm like, right, I've got a minute. How many burpees can I do?
How many can you do? Should we find out?
Oh no, yeah, maybe at the end.
Okay.
So and then for me, it almost becomes a competition with myself. Like people say I go to the gym and I'm very competitive, but I'm not competitive with other people. I'm competitive with myself. Like I know what I can do and I want to do it better next time.
Nice. Just chasing those 1%ers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it. Okay, so we've touched on if people want to get started in this space, what normally stops them?
Actually, I will say though, if you're like really feeling you're into it, Gallup's got a lot of books kind of in their library of strengths-related topics. If you get a book at the back, I would say in all the books, there'll be a code for free.
Oh, okay. So there's a little hack there. I think there was one that I read called First Break All the Rules.
Yeah, let's break all the rules.
Yeah, it's the first book to present this essential measuring stick around how to prove the link between employee opinions, productivity, profit. There are a number. Like you said before, there's no end to your development when you start understanding this, because every person that you then interact with, you then start wondering, I wonder what their strengths are. I always think, for me, I've tried to think, like, I wonder how they see the world. Like, why do they need so much of this information? And I can spot it with different clients that I'm working with now, where I'm like, okay, I can't coach them the same way in business as I do that person, because I can just see the different themes and whatnot coming through.
I think, and we've become far more understanding, I think, of the things we've been impatient of in the past. Where people don't have that same, let's just give it a go attitude. You can understand that probably a little bit better now and come from a place of understanding to either try and say to them, I get why you're nervous and I get what you need, but maybe trust me for this one. And let's just give it a go, because I can absolutely see how this is going to work.
Yeah, nice.
Because you've also got strategic, right, in your...
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah, so I guess, that and Activator together are like probably a Maserati sometimes. Because for people who are listening, the strategic theme is, there is no one path. It's people who are able to kind of pick the best path, and they'll have a plan A, B, C, D. So plan B is just the beginning. And you can quickly form those paths and understand why, plan A, plan B won't work, and therefore you've got to do plan C. But can often leave people behind who are still thinking about plan A and really giving it good, considered thinking step by step as to why that probably could still work.
Yeah, they don't even realise, but by then I'm on to plan C.
Correct. And you probably already sent the email to start initiating
plan
C.
Poor bastards.
Yeah.
What do you see when people do this and then they kind of go, okay, done, and then they don't carry on down the path? They're not interested, they may not be, they don't know what their next step is, or...
I think part of it is life is busy.
Yeah.
And what I say to people, if you truly want to do something about it, just put half an hour in your diary every week. Just half an hour firstly to read it. And I would often say to people, share it with someone who knows you well and just get their thoughts on it. Because as I said, sometimes our strengths are so innate to us, we don't really see them as strengths. And, unless we've been lucky enough to get feedback from people who've worked with us or that we've worked for, managers and the like, who are like, my God, this is something you do really well. Yeah. We don't always pick up on the nature of our true strengths. But, that half hour to spend putting into your strengths at the end of the month is a couple of hours, right? But it's still a couple of hours that you would have never spent before. And if you get the All 34 report, each of your themes, your dominant themes, they give you a list of actions. And they are pretty simplistic. And it's not that you have to follow them word for word, but if nothing else, they're prompts for what you can do to put that into action.
Take action to maximise your potential. Stretch the circle wider. Find ways to get more people involved.
Yeah. So
that's for
putting
included,
the intentional, putting it into work intentionally. So think about what I've got on and how can I make that circle wider? But not so wide that maybe it stops being useful to me and to the others in the group, but...
Yeah, I've done that.
I know. Because I think we had these conversations early on about BGP, about, when you guys were going to the races and who do you invite and then, where does that circle stop?
Yeah. Now I'm trying to unwind some of that.
Yeah.
What I also did is I gave this to ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And sometimes I'll say, hey, based on the knowledge of this is my situation, etc. What do you think I could be thinking about next in terms of a product offering, or what things are going to suit me with investing in, etc., to just get a different perspective of what I might be missing, which I found quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a simple way to sort of go a little bit deeper on it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great idea.
So my top 10
Yep.
includer, maximiser, strategic, woo, activator, ideation, positivity, futuristic, communication, arranger. Arranger is probably the one that because it's right down there in 10, and it's my only real executing theme, is one that I probably need to spend more time in understanding, but I can see how I sort of slot things together.
Yep. It's like a conductor in an orchestra. Knows how to place the pieces of what you're doing to efficiently make things happen.
Gotcha. Yeah, probably just lacking the detail at times for people.
And I think that's a good point to note. So you would lead, is it influencing that you lead with?
Yes. Yeah.
And so as part of that All 34 report, it talks about the 4 leadership domains, of which executing is one, influencing is another, relationship building, and strategic thinking. And so based on the order of your themes, it tells you which domain you lead with. So you lead with influencing. I lead with the relationship building domain. I do not have one yellow in my top 10.
Oh, you don't?
Yellow being influencing.
Yeah.
And influencing is the domain you're least likely to see as people's leading domain.
Really?
For individuals and for teams, yeah.
So say that again. Least likely to
likely to see as you lead with influencing.
Yeah.
That's the one you're least likely to see.
People
Leading with. Yeah.
So then I've got a unique skill set.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, influencing themes help you take charge, speak up, and make sure others are heard.
Yeah, so it's the one-to-many voice.
Yeah. Nice.
So as my relationship building, I love my one-to-one. It's not that I can't do themes, but I really like that one-to-one, and that probably, fits into that related piece and individualization as well, where for me, that individualization, general definition is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Everybody is different, and so I have the ability to kind of want to look for and pick out those kind of unique characteristics in everybody. Whereas, yours is the ability to speak to the masses, to understand what people are looking for, and through that communication piece as well, be able to then voice it and deliver it in a way that people want to hear it.
Nice. So maybe that's why we've got a podcast.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. Okay, and then executing themes help you make things happen.
Yeah. Get things done.
Yeah. And then strategic thinking themes help you absorb and analyze information that informs better decisions. Yeah. Going back to what you were saying before about spending 30 minutes a week on this, what do you think people would notice at the end of a year if they stayed consistent to doing that?
Wow, a lot.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I think for personal and self-growth and development, you would be able to confidently speak about what it is you do well. Hopefully you've been able to integrate your dominant themes into the work that you do so that you are more engaged in your everyday work, intentionally realising how you can better use these every single day. I think people would be able to, if they worked in a team, be able to be strength spotting in the people around them that they worked closely with, and be able to approach those relationships possibly a little bit differently, come from a better place of understanding, particularly if it's people who have quite different themes to you, because they're probably the ones most likely to irritate you or rub you the wrong way, grate you because they work differently, but understanding the value that they bring as part of that team. Depending on your themes, maybe also understand how that team can work better together. Can we allocate work based on what people do well rather than what's purely in their job description, because that's how we've always done it. And then if they've got family members, same sort of thing. If they've got kids, how do they strength spot in those kids, and how then can they help them grow those natural talent themes?
Nice. Are you seeing more people do it with their kids? Is it becoming more normal?
That's one thing I'd really love to do, is take this into schools. This is massive in the States, in colleges. Yeah. Colleges. And I think for the adult one, which is this one that you've done, obviously, really we're probably talking year 9, 10, really probably depending on the child. But again, my daughter did it when she was, I think, 13. And even today she reads it and she feels it's very much like her.
Nice. Could you see some of the themes in her before she did it, sort of thing, with your knowledge of it?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And interestingly, my mum's done it, my brothers have done it, Matt's, my partner, so Isabel's dad's done it, and the kids seem to be like this nice little mix of the parents. Like her top 5 is a blend of Matt's top 5 and my top 5.
Yeah.
And, so when she was going to high school, she had to go for an interview. I said to her, let's just read through, because they're going to talk to you about who you are, what you do well.
Nice.
And so we did that before the interview. And it's not that she would have pulled them out word for word, but I think it was just a good reminder for her about what she does well and who she is.
Did she get the job?
Well, she went to college, so she got into the school she wanted to go to.
Nice one, yeah.
But I think, from a work point of view, absolutely. Like, I've done this for people who are going, I don't think it helps you find the job you're looking for, but I think it just helps you reinforce the things that you're good at, so... and when you go for that job interview, is to confidently talk about who you are and what you do well, because people always ask you, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses?
Yeah.
And so rather than stumble your way through it, this will help you confidently put the words around what you do well.
Yeah, I think as well, it's not very Kiwi, but I think it's needed in life. But we should all be able to answer the question, what things we're good at. Yeah. So if someone asks us, what are you good at? It should not be like, oh, you got to stay humble, you shouldn't be able to answer that. It should be like, no, these are the things that I'm good at.
Yeah.
Everybody in some way, shape or form is trying to figure that out from somebody else. But whether it's a relationship or a new employee, etc., or a business partnership, they're trying to figure out, okay, what are you good at? And if we can't answer that, we're leaving so much on the table, I think.
Yeah. And I think if you can't answer it, how can you expect other people to see the value that you bring?
Yeah, yeah. I had this question, but it's kind of similar to what we're just talking about. But if every Kiwi actually lived out their strengths, what do you think will change? What do you think would change in workplaces and families?
Why?
Deep one.
Yeah, it is a deep one. I think we would be the only country in the world to be, nudging into the top end of the highly engaged part of the survey, which would be incredible, because for the last 10 years, that number hasn't changed a lot.
Yeah, internationally or?
Internationally.
Yeah.
Globally,
People aren't engaged in their work and their lives.
I know, but it seems like such an easy...
Win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's low-hanging fruit, isn't it, to understand what you do well and try and do more of that every day?
Mm. Yeah.
We're not talking about fundamental changes to who you are or the work that you do, but just be able to concentrate and spend a little bit more time, whether it's at work or at home, to be honest. Like, doing more of what you love, that comes to you with ease, that you enjoy, and you're just bloody good at it. I think, we would all go to work and be happy. I mean, it'll probably, fill Simon Sinek's heart with full of love. But I think it is like honestly living the dream to go to work and be able to do what you love to do every single day. And the impact of that positivity that would come from that, I don't know how you measure that.
Yeah, I think that it makes it easier to solve problems. So then when things do happen, when you're really drained and a problem happens, the problem's bigger.
Yeah.
But when you're fulfilled, you're happy, things are going well, it's not really a problem. It's inconvenient.
Yeah.
And then you get through it a lot faster. And I think if you spend more time in your strengths, two things happen. One, problems aren't as big because you're feeling more empowered about everything anyway. But then secondly, you go, I wonder how I could solve this with a strength. And maybe that's just the strategic in me. But then I go, when I came across the concept as well of who, not how. So no, Luke, yes, you've been taught you probably should learn everything and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't work anymore because we've got the internet. We've got, every textbook's right there. And we've got ChatGPT, etc. So actually, isn't it better for someone like myself to go, okay, who's done this? If I can keep building relationships, then I could probably solve this problem by ringing that person. And therefore, this problem isn't as big of a problem as I once thought that it was.
And doesn't chew up the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to my point before, when you can talk about what you do well, you can also make peace with the things you just don't do so well. And so rather than sitting and stewing and staying in the stark and thinking, oh my God, how am I going to get this done? This is really going to be difficult. I don't do spreadsheets or whatever it might be, right? It'd be like, I know I don't do this well, but within, the people I work with, within my network of people, I know the person who can help me.
Yeah.
And I don't think there are many people in this world that if you asked for help, they would turn you down. If they are, you probably want to take them out of your network, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But, I think for the most part, people are happy to help.
Yeah.
You just got to be brave to ask and know what you're asking for.
Yeah, especially in a work environment or business partnerships or whatever, you can then, you know that they're good at it too. So then they're going to want to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, mate, I've got this problem. It's highly, with Phil often I'm like, it's highly analytical. Can you spot what's going on here? He's like, oh, yeah, sweet. If I said to him, oh, hey, mate, I reckon it'd be a real good idea if we run an event, but I don't want to be there. Can you stand up there and run it for the day? He'd be like, do not fucking do this to me.
Yeah.
What do you mean? If I give him a whole heap of data and say, mate, there's an issue in there, he'd be like, there it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's got no issues with that. It's exciting for him too because that's him leaning on his
Absolutely. That's what he loves to do.
Yeah. So
it's a win-win.
If people want to go deeper down this, I think, again, we need to highlight this is not a do the assessment and one and done. There's a body of work here. Reiterating, what's the best way? So Google, CliftonStrengths.
So Gallup CliftonStrengths,
Yep.
or buy a book if you're really, jazzed about it. Take the assessment. It gets sent to you straight away.
Yeah.
So you can open it up. I would suggest to people that they read it, whether it's digitally or hard copy, and highlight the words and phrases that really resonate with them. And then, optional step is share it with someone who knows you well, get some thoughts from them. And I think when you're reading it, my advice is try and approach it like you don't know the meanings of the words of the 34 talent themes. And I think I say that because people who read the words, there's often some sort of bias attached to it, and then people have in their own mind what the definition is. But some of the definitions that Gallup have attached to their talent themes are just a bit different to what we would perceive probably every day.
Yeah,
a bit like strategic, right? You would think, that might mean that I'm really good at
chess.
Yeah.
Strategy.
Yeah. Whereas it is different to that, right? It's, and then it's really up to the person at that point. Even though I'm a coach and if people come to see me, at the end of the day, the work has to be done by them. And so if you don't want to coach and you want to do it for yourself, you absolutely can, And like I said, my advice would be to put some time in the diary every week and make it as non-negotiable to move as you possibly can.
Yeah, nice.
And so whether it's picking a theme like you did and concentrate on that for a month. So what is the theme? How do I understand it a little bit more? And then how can I use it for success this month based on what I've got on my to-do list? Or what is on my to-do list and which of my strengths is best going to help me achieve what I need to do?
And are you still doing individual and team coaching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can give me a call or go through my website, thinkplando.co.nz.
Cool.
Even if they just want to have a chat about the assessment a little bit more, what it's all about.
Don't waste Suze's time though, otherwise I'll come for you. I think you've got a booking link, like a Calendly.
Yeah, Calendly.
Cool.
Yep,
I'll chuck everything into the show notes. I'll tell you a quick fun story to wrap up. The includer in me, I think we've spoken about this, but I can't help but notice it every time now. If I do go to a networking event and someone's on the outer, I just feel so bad for the man. I'm like, we could have an extra seat at the table, or I'll kind of like nudge the person next to me, like move. There's someone standing behind you that needs to be included in the circle, and I can't unsee that now that I,
you know about it.
Yeah, or go places and then like people don't do that, and I now make a point of like, I'll just bring that person into the conversation.
I've got included 27.
Yeah,
but I feel like I see it on your behalf because you spoke about it, so passionately, like so often. That now, like, I feel like I live vicariously through your includer.
Yeah.
And what's really difficult, though, is sometimes, like, I'll go to something and I'll see those people on the outside, but I'll be like, what do I do? Like, how am I inviting them in for what? And then I overthink it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, and this is why includer sits 27 for me.
Yeah.
Because you don't even think about it. Like, it's just so natural to you. Like, I might see those people, but I don't always invite them in.
Yeah.
That's a bit like my relators. The door's open, but it's not like super, super open.
The other thing that I've got, because we've got an event coming up, right? And I was thinking I need to probably put into an email to people who come along that I may have emailed them back, I may have messaged them back, but I'm not going to recognise them. I don't know that that's that person, because often people will say to me, I've emailed you a few times, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, so yeah, like there's no picture of you, and
sometimes if there's a picture, it don't look like that person
exactly,
anymore.
Yeah. And so then I'm trying to think, okay, what can I and then I'm thinking, okay, how can I word it nicely that just because I've messaged you back doesn't mean that I actually know you, remember that, or are going to know what you look like. Because I'm worried that I'm going to walk past people and they're going to think, I've messaged him before, or we've had an interaction, and I'm just going to be steamrolling around. And I think, oh shit, he's actually a bit of an asshole compared to what we thought he was going to be like. He didn't even acknowledge us.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to know that's... So I'm already thinking about those types of things, which maybe I'm overthinking it. But I'm thinking, okay, one thing I can do is then just say to people in a nice way, like, hey...
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. So then I'm thinking, okay, I need to get Jay to get us some name badges as well. Because there's nothing worse than speaking to people that, sort of know who you are, and you're thinking, okay... I should know this person somehow.
I mean, name badges are good, right? But I think get people to introduce themselves.
Smart, yeah. Hey, I'm Luke, and this is what I'm good at.
Yeah, and then use the tricks of that mentalist guy to remember everybody's names. Because, like, name tags are good, but they're a bit, like, awkward as well.
Yeah.
And I think the ladies, like, often they're here, right? And then it's like...
Yeah, guys, I hadn't thought of that, yeah.
Because, when we went to our... coach training, we all got given these lanyards, and they had our top 5 on it, and so it became perfectly acceptable to be like, what are your top 5? Hey, we've got some of the same,
and there's no
because it is, as you know, like, it's a 1 in 278,000 chance that you would have the same top 5 out of order.
Out of order. Wow.
1 in 33 million.
Sheesh.
In the set.
You shouldn't bump into anyone in New Zealand that's got your exact top 5.
I don't actually know whether on the database yet they have any 2 people, same top 5 in order, and over 30 million people have done this, or 30 million assessments have been taken.
Wow. Oh, wow. And the whole database. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's got oh, wow.
Top 5, just the top 5.
Shit.
And so I think, if nothing else, that speaks to how incredibly unique you are, because even if you have the same top 1 or 2, whatever it might be, I know we don't, but your themes are influenced by the themes that sit around it. So if you and I had learner number 1, how yours reads in your All 34 will be different to how mine reads, because mine is influenced, as yours is influenced, by all the other themes that sit around it.
Yeah.
So it still plays out differently in the world, and that's the key, is understanding how my learner works for me and how yours works for you.
Well, we often get told that we need to focus on our strengths, and hopefully this last hour has given people a little bit of a nudge in that direction to do it. I can personally vouch that you won't regret it doing it as a piece of work in your life, because it will make sense of so many things for you. It'll give you more energy. You'll be more engaged in what you're doing, and you'll be able to lean on the things that you're good at, and that will then make hard things easier, and things just start happening for you in your life, and people look at you and go, how is that happening? It might be luck, it whatever, but there is actually, something tactical that you're doing in the background.
Yep. And I think, just to think about living in a place that we focus on what is strong rather than what is wrong. That's a Don Clifton quote, not mine. That's just got to be a better life, doesn't it?
I think so.
I mean, rather than, you're not good at this, spend time working on it, something you don't enjoy, something you'll never be great at it. And the maximiser in you would be dying over that thought.
100%.
Quality over quantity. And so this gives you the opportunity, right, to be better at what you do and enjoy doing it along the way.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get stuck in, search Gallup, Gallup, Clifton Strengths. Do the whole 34. Don't listen to Susan, just do the top 5.
No, I would always say do the all 34.
Okay.
I'm just saying, because obviously there's a price difference.
Yeah, true. That's
so
US dollars, isn't it?
Yeah, and not everybody can afford to do the all 34. So don't be dismayed if you're with doing the top 5, which they've revamped that report just recently, and so it's got a lot more info than it ever used to. But if I'm doing work with people, I will always encourage the all 34, because I think it's good to just have the holistic view of all the talent themes, particularly if you're working in themes, because it's just so good to see and come to peace with the things that others in the team, you should be leaning on for whatever reason if they're better at something than you are.
Well, if you're in business or if you're a sole trader, I would claim it as a fully tax-deductible expense, because the stats tell us that working on strengths improves your productivity. That'll lead to more profit. That'll lead to more tax take. So it'd be very hard for the IRD to tell you that you can't claim this as a tax-deductible expense.
And for sure, in one of Gallup's books, it's got that whole economic path about how strengths make a difference in your world at work. There
we go. Tax-deductible. You heard it here first. Thanks for listening to the podcast. As always, make sure you're taking action, and I would love to see you on the 5th of December at Keep the Change Unplugged. We're going to be kicking off around 6:30, but start rolling in from 6 p.m. It's only $26. It's in Takapuna. If you Google Keep the Change Unplugged, you'll find the Ticketmaster link. I'd love to see you there. Let's get inspired by some of these amazing guests that we've had throughout the year and get ourselves ready for an awesome 2026. Bring it on.